Hi, I'm Ira Winkler.
And I'm Araceli Troy Gomez.
And welcome to today's Security ADD, where today we're talking about everybody's favorite subject in the whole widest world, especially a billion people, China. So today what we're talking about is everybody wants to punish China. And we're here to say, or at least I'm here to say, leave China alone.
Leave China alone! Please!
You gotta get over this thing about blaming China for everything. They're a country. They spy. We spy. We gotta get over this whole issue of them blaming them for doing what we're doing to them. At the same time, the problem is they're just more egregious about it. They tend to get caught. That's the problem. We don't get caught till we have a traitor like Snowden going out there and telling China what we do about them. In the meantime, they're just not as good as we are, so they get caught an awful lot. And we have to accept the fact that in the world, people spy on each other. Where the real catch is, though, the real catch is economic espionage. Because everybody likes to say China spies on U.S. countries. I mean, screw the OPM. That's a legitimate intelligence target. And even Michael Hayden, the former director of NSA and CIA, said that the OPM hack was a legitimate intelligence target. Hacking companies, though, frankly, the U.S. is really the only country in the world that doesn't do some form of economic espionage. And I'm not complaining about that. At the same time, though, we got to understand that they're going to do it, and yes, we can attempt to put sanctions on them, but the things we've done in the past really don't give us much credit for doing so.
Can I stop you there? You're on like 3 different soapboxes at once, which is quite the contortionist feat. Yeah. But what does get over and stop blaming China mean, first of all? Get over it and stop blaming China. What is that?
Okay, so basically people want to go ahead and they want to put sanctions on China. They want to somehow punish China. The reality is punishing China isn't going to get us far, and it's a lot of it actually on the hypocritical side. We got to look at it like we either got to get better at protecting ourselves or deal with it, because the problem is they were able to hack the OPM and get lots of stupid data, well, not really critical data from us, really, really easily. That's not China's fault. That's the U.S.'s fault.
So can I ask you a couple other questions there? So I'm trying to frame where I even stand on what issue you're talking about. But so don't blame them, but do defend against them.
Yes.
Do you not notice those to go kind of hand in hand organizationally, and from a protection perspective, you need to identify your threat before you can, or determine that it's a threat before you defend.
Okay, let's talk about this. Talk about stupid retaliation against them. We're going to do trade sanctions. We're going to do this and that. The reality is, what are you going to do with China? Here's the issue. Are we blaming China are we attributing the attack for China? Yes. You got to give them a high five from an intelligence perspective for being successful at what they did. On the other hand, you can't go ahead and just say, we're going to do trade sanctions. We're going to, essentially take retaliation against China for doing what Michael Hayden again described he wishes he did if he didn't do it while he was at NSA and CIA.
So, devil's advocacy here, isn't that a lot like our argument that Nixon deserved what he got not because he did it, but because he was the one that got caught?
Nixon had a whole bunch of issues of actually violating U.S. law blatantly inside the U.S. while he was president of the United States. China is
don't be too literal.
Yeah, I know.
I'm trying to give you the example of, they're not very good at it. They're getting caught. A lot of us felt that, well, yes, Nixon was doing things that other presidents do, but he got caught. Therefore, action needs to be taken.
The fact is he got caught, but it was also fundamentally illegal. From China's perspective, it's not illegal for China to spy on the U.S.
That's the issue.
From the U.S.'s perspective, technically, it's not illegal for the U.S. to spy on China. The U.S. makes a distinguishing factor, though, and say, we will not commit economic espionage. At the same time, though, they're out there saying, it's wrong for China to hack the OPM. It's like, from an intelligence perspective, no, you expect them to hack the OPM. The problem with us is we didn't take the appropriate precautions and basically gave the data to the lowest bidder, and then we were upset that, China hacked the data away. Well, probably Russia hacked the data away. Iran hacked the data away. China just made it easy for them to get caught.
You're very upset about this.
Yeah.
What exactly are you upset about? You went so we're back to. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just trying to understand what is up your butt right now. So stop blaming China, or do blame China, but don't get so mad and don't sanction them, defend against them, don't misdirect that. Okay.
So here's the problem. You can attribute the attack to China all you want. And frankly, at the end of the day, they don't care. At the end of the day, they're going to say, we did it. No, we didn't. No, yeah. I mean, they're going to say they didn't do it no matter what you say they did. And likewise, we're going to say we didn't do espionage against them no matter what we did. At the same time, though, what I'm upset about is people think the solution is to take retaliation against China in one way or another, instead of taking retaliation against the people who had pathetic security at OPM and other places, instead, and protecting ourselves better. We have to expect that whether it's China, whether it's Russia, whether it's Iran, whether it's drug cartels, whether it's France, Israel, who does hack us as well, we have to expect them to do these things. And to expect them to do it, we can't sit around with our thumbs up our butts and say, let's retaliate against China while we're cutting the budgets of departments, thinking that somehow they're going to keep improving services with budget cuts. At the same time, we're saying, oh, please don't take advantage of our poor resulting security. We have to start focusing on why security was so bad, not trying to retaliate against people who are essentially doing the same things we are.
I think for once we actually agree on this. So I take issue with the notion that we can hold another, that we can enforce some sort of cyber Geneva convention or cyber humanity rule set that is meant to apply jurisdictionally where we have no ability to enforce, and where legislatively and morally we have diverging opinions on what is right and what is wrong. I think your point is well taken, that blame is a bad word. Apply attribution to your adversary and identify them. I would argue you should not do that regionally, and you should not make a blanket statement about an entire populace of people that comprises a very large fraction of the world, because it helps to blur the lines with your adversary. But beyond that, deflecting blame or deflecting attention away from the actual problem is probably not any better a solution. So, okay.
Yeah, so essentially, let's put it this way. Ari's taking the much more diplomatic approach to basically what I'm saying. I'm saying...
Ari wants to stay off watch lists. Ari would like to travel.
We both would like to travel, and frankly, if we're retaliated against for this, you're going to hear about that. But at the same time, here's the issue. I am frankly offended as a security practitioner, not that China would attempt to do what we would expect China to do, but that security professionals and the Congress and everybody else is, instead of looking back and saying, what is the root cause of poor security, which again are high-level federal mandates and a variety of budget issues and things like that, why aren't we taking appropriate action? And Ari essentially agrees with me in a much more, ironically, politically correct way. But anyway.
All right, then that looks like this has been today's edition of Security ADD, brought to you by the letters AD&D, and thank you for joining us.
I'm Ira.
I'm Ari.
And have a lovely day till we see you again and figure out something else to rant about.
Bye-bye.
Bye.